Chadwick. What do you mean? Deduction. The likelihood of cauldron Chadwick was a short-lived species. Remaining alive to this day in a corporeal state is close to zero. As of now, no longevity technology has been able to extend the natural lifespan of a normal human by 2 amber eras. On the other hand, the family in Penacony has a deep understanding of Memoria and his related technologies. Even though they cannot sustain Chadwick's body, they could still extract the substance from the depths of his brain, allowing his consciousness to survive. Dudley, my friend from the technology department, said that the weapon could be used to contain the destruction's forces. He said we were doing the right thing. I'm very sorry, Dr. Chadwick. I shouldn't have sprung that question on you and put you in a position to give an insincere answer. I think we're all free to choose the life we prefer. We can put aside those redundant thoughts that distract us and focus on our task at hand and areas of expertise. But you must be cautious, Doctor. For people like us, even a minor slip-up can impact the entire universe. Our wisdom is both a blessing and a burden. Dud, Don't hold it against me, Chad. We have to be responsible for our choices. 3. My name will forever be cursed, though. What's the price you have to pay, Dudley? 2. Look, Chad, this is your problem. You always take your gifts and talents for granted, and you have no idea there are people like me. 1. No one will remember us. 0. Imaginary implosion pulse. Detonate. Alright, I got 2 things I need to record here for Honkai Star Rail, and then I have a couple things to do in Tower of Fantasy, and then just to get the 5 video thingy going there. And then, of course, after I get all that stuff done, then I need to edit all these Honkai Star Rail videos that I currently have, and then those Tower of Fantasy videos, and like 10 videos specifically from the Saints Row reboot, which isn't really going to be much editing anyway, because it's just me and Winston running around the map, doing shit, and man, I hate that game so much. Anyway. We're gonna get this puzzle together here. Also, I was in Tower of Fantasy earlier with its, little Evangelion crossover event, and, lost the 50-50 for Asuka, so that's just cool. Anyway, let's hope I don't lose the 50-50 for Acreon. Anyway. Screw 'em! I finally found you! We haven't seen each other for years, Dr. Chadwick. Please forgive me for not telling you that I feel sorry for your plight. I know you have long seen it coming. I brought this upon myself. After all these years, I no longer have to be reminded of that. I need help, Mr. Screwdom. I can tell you're driven into a corner, as you are still willing to talk to me after going through all those hardships. Planet Screwdom can be your temporary shelter if you need it. No way. I pledged to myself never to involve any more innocent people in this matter. No matter where I hide, the IPC will find me. It's just a matter of time. I can't be on the run forever, so I need to fight back in some way. I've heard that a genius has developed a secret drug capable of blocking parts of the consciousness and memory of a person. I've never been close with anyone from the Genius Society, so I need you to pull the strings for me. The selective blocking agent. I've heard of it. I suppose it's the brainchild of the eccentric pharmacist indeed. That lady has no dealings with the IPC, so the risk of her selling you out is low. Question. Do you think this is a surefire solution? All I'm certain is that it has the smallest price to pay. As long as I can forget the knowledge temporarily, the IPC will have no means to extract it from my brain. As for whatever I'll be going through, I deserve it. Everyone must be accountable for their actions, and facing the consequences is part and parcel of the process. I understand, Dr. Chadwick. I'll get you that drug. You are finally honest with yourself, Doctor. I'm glad for you that the achievement alone. I hope with all my heart that you can pull through these tough times. Well then, I guess I can't look at whatever that was. The Dr. Chadwick in front of you is at an advanced age. He looks very similar to how he was when you first met him. He still has those contemplative eyes, now tinged with a hint of gloominess. He can't seem to sense your presence. Perhaps you can take a look around the room first. One wonders what's inside the safe on the wall. It could be completely empty, because the cauldron Chadwick right here has no more secrets that he can hide. The desk before the old man is stacked with unsent letters. On a letter cover, written in hastily handwriting, unauthorized send request, returned recommend. A few books are scattered on the floor. You peer at their names and are certain they have nothing to do with Chadwick's specialization nor research subjects. You find it hard to believe that the old man would be interested in Cienjo Videodara folk music theory, or perhaps he must have lived here for far too long. Professor Chadwick has been placed under house arrest here? I should go talk to him. I can feel myself getting stuffy. Doctor?
Ah, did they send their guys over again? Who is sent here makes no difference. I've said time and time again, I'm no longer of use to you guys.
You took the selective blocking agent.
How did you know? I get it. This isn't reality, and you aren't an IPC lackey, are you? Wonderful. It's been so long since I had a normal conversation with someone. I don't need anything here, as they'll get me whatever I want. I'm just deprived of freedom.
What have they done?
At first, they pretended to be friendly with me. They tempted me with valuables and promises in return for my knowledge, all to no avail. Eventually, they lost their patience and started forcing me to read articles related to the theory of imaginary application. But the drug was surprisingly effective. Not only did it block my access to the roided knowledge in my mind, but it also hampered my ability to learn the knowledge. Much later on, they accepted the fact that I had been reduced to a useless old man. Starting from some point in the time, they changed the strategy and decided to just wait for my death.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You don't have to. It's the price I have to pay. The passing of time and the increasing pain seem to have alleviated my guilt. Which is the only good thing about being confined here.
What will happen next?
I've gathered bits and pieces of info from the people they sent. Combined with my own deduction, I believe the IPC might be scheming to tamper with the memoria left in my brain after the death of my physical body. They probably think that no matter how tight-lipped I am now, whatever remains of my dead body will be at their disposal. I'm scared, youngster. I'm worried that all the precautions I've taken so far will be negated upon my demise. At this rate, IPC will one day regain control of the imaginary pulses technology and monopolize it. My efforts will all be in vain when the time comes.
Please allow me to rebuke that, Doctor. Your effort isn't in vain. Here we are again, Dr. Chadwick.
Screw 'em! I never thought I could see you again.
I once thought that too. Life is unpredictable, but it has eventually shown its benevolent side. I'm here to tell you that your effort is not in vain. Even after the death of your physical body, you are still safeguarding your knowledge, leaving no chance for finding those harboring ulterior motives. It isn't the effect of the drug, but the ingrained dedication and perseverance in your consciousness.
Oh, that's great. It couldn't be better. You know what, screw 'em. I've always regretted not listening to the voice inside me when we first met. It's just a simple phrase, but I haven't been able to say it. It's probably time I hear it myself now.
Say it, Chadwick. Life is fleeting, and many reach the end with regrets. I can't say your life is a happy one, but it is at least complete when this moment takes place.
I joined the experiment not for a good cause, but for myself. I wanted my talents and expertise to be seen by the whole world. And that's it. Thank you, Skrull. And you. I feel much better. Never better.
You've been through a lot, Dr. Chadwick. Now, if you don't mind, please let us be with you as you make your way to the end.
Mr. Skrull.
I have not gathered too many opinions on this matter. However, there is one lady's assessment that I believe I can convey on her behalf. In a few short years, Cauldron Chadwick. You hear Chadwick emit a satisfied laugh, and then he no longer speaks. Let's wake up, Miss Jupiter Free. Thank you, Miss Jupiter Free. You managed to unravel the mystery surrounding Dr. Chadwick and gave him freedom. I really didn't do anything. You were the first person that was both willing and able to help him. That alone was plenty. I found a way to convince the family to bring the remnants of Chadwick's Memoria to Herta Space Station. As the witnesses to the completion of his life, I would like to invite you to pay your final respects, should you wish to, that is. I'll be there soon. Miss Herta and I shall await you in the seclusion zone. Well, that's not what I'm going for. I'd actually like you to unmark that, please. Welcome back, Madam Jupiter. 2 Amber Eras later, Dr. Chadwick is finally freed. He is now with us. How did he end up like this? What Dr. Chadwick dreaded the most became reality. After his demise, the IPC extracted the Memoria in his brain with the advanced technology provided by the Garden of Recollection and sealed it in a memory bubble. They must have prepared it in advance, as the process took place right after his death, so fast that even his consciousness in his final moments was preserved. That step alone wasn't enough, as Memoria preserved that the way that it was. In essence, a stagnant pool, if it remained inactive for too long, what was in the water would eventually die out. Therefore, the IPC came up with a solution, sending Chadwick to Penacony to maintain the activity of the Memoria. Speculation: the technology department must have struck some sort of deal with the family. Under the family's supervision, Dr. Chadwick wandered in the dreamscape for 2 Amber Eras. If it weren't for you, Madam Jupiter, their supervision would continue. Now he can rest? I agree, Madam Jupiter. This is such a miracle. It's hard to believe that he managed to resist the IPC until now with what little consciousness remaining in his Memoria. I was right about him back then. He's always been a genius, Madam Herta, but he isn't always that determined. Science and technology is not good or evil. For the past hundreds of years, he's been trying to redeem himself for a thought that he had when he was young. When Jupiter Free told me about him, I thought I would finally have the chance to learn about his research. It's a pity that things turned out this way. Those devices are used to maintain the vitality of the memory bubble temporarily. By turning them off, Dr. Chadwick will be able to enter a peaceful slumber. Madam Jupiter, let us pay our final respects to him together. I need to take a drink. Before you lies more than just a lifeless machine. It embodies a third of Cauldron Chadwick's existence. You hope for a response from the world to the departure of this brilliant mind. Yet all that lingers is a profound silence in the air. I don't know you very well, Doctor. We've known each other for a century, yet we've only met 3 times. Nevertheless, please allow me to address you as a friend. I understand this may not be much of a consolation, but in my calculations, your research had the potential to save billions of lives. Regrettably, the era has slipped through our fingers like sand. Prior to the onset of actual disaster, all we can do is pray. Pray that the discerning gaze of Noose may turn toward the next Cauldron Chadwick. Well, should I also say something? Dr. Chadwick, although I have never met you in person, I deeply admire your intellect and research. You know, I don't usually give compliments, but our fields of study share many commonalities. Your work on the theory of imaginary applications has sparked my inspiration on more than just one occasion, and I have to say, it's even made me, a tad jealous. It's a shame we never had the chance to work together. From what I've heard from Screwy and that troublemaker, you've had your share of hardships in your lifetime. Rest in peace, Doctor. Is this over? Well, it's a calm conclusion for Dr. Chadwick in his later years. This would count as quite a significant luxury. I never imagined I'd be bidding farewell to a fellow society member in person. It feels rather peculiar. It's a real pity. If only I had realized 2 amber eras earlier.
Madam Urta. Madam Urta.
Who is it? Did you all hear that voice just now? A miracle? Calm down, both of you. I heard that voice too. Could it be the residual consciousness of Dr. Chadwick?
Urta. Please. Come closer.
It's happening again, but this time it seems quieter. Speculation. Dr. Chadwick's self-awareness still lingers faintly. It's making an eager effort to communicate with us. Madam Herta, Madam Jupiter, let us get closer.
Madam Urta.
I'm listening, Doctor. If there's anything else you want to say, now's the time.
I'm honored. My research, my knowledge, I will leave behind. Please accept.
Wait, are you saying...
Memoria is dissipating. Please come closer. Touch foreheads.
I understand, Doctor. Herta's puppet takes a step forward, pressing her forehead against the trembling memory bubble. Cauldron Chadwick. It's absolutely infuriating. He was nothing more than an ordinary person with a lifespan of just a few decades. Yet he managed to achieve such astonishing feats. It seems you truly admire him. Admire? I suppose you could say that. But to be honest, I'm somewhat envious and a bit jealous. At the very moment, he entrusted me with all his life's work. It appears that the final moments of his life, Cauldron Chadwick chose to place his trust in you, Madam Herta, even though the 2 of you had never met before.
The reasoning behind organic life is truly unpredictable. Nevertheless, the impulses of organic life frequently embody a grand and romantic poetry that never fails to leave me in awe. Remarkable. Truly remarkable. Tens of thousands of formulas and equations are flashing through my mind right now. I never imagined there could be such a way to analyze the problem. From imaginary overflow to imaginary implosion, from theory to application, from a mere paper to the birth of the imaginary pulse. What did you see, Madame Herta? I saw the final words he left behind. To Madame Herta, while I've held my position during my lifetime, given the resources the IPC possesses, they will inevitably discover the means and techniques to reproduce the imaginary implosion device. The die was cast at the moment the imaginary pulse was created. Every corner of the universe is destined to be on guard against its threats. I can't turn back time, but there's still one thing I can do. I can entrust my knowledge and technology to those who are worthy, thereby establishing the groundwork for the deterrence system, robust enough to counterbalance the IPC's might. My life is nearing its conclusion. Yet from this moment forward, I aspire to be an unyielding blade, eternally poised above tyranny and malevolence. Well, damn. To think he would entrust his life's work to me. Did he not know the space station was connected with the IPC? But his wishes, they must be honored. Find a way to circumvent the IPC's surveillance, then. With my reputation as a genius on the line, I will surely get this done for Dr. Caldron Chadwick. According to my calculations, Caldron Chadwick's research could have saved hundreds of millions of lives now. It appears that this outcome has an extremely high rate of becoming reality. May you find eternal peace among the sea of trees, Doctor.
It's a sad conclusion for the poor old man. No, I can't mess with that thing unless I'm in Penacony. God damn it, I hate when I get all stuffy right as I'm like start recording shit. When I was fine, like, earlier. And now, like, ugh. I'll look around here for a moment. I mean, I think we finished everything here.
You all need to report this to the family immediately.
You know, as gross as this is gonna sound, it's like if I just let out a really, really big sneeze and just got all that shit out in one.
Hey, don't go any further.
Do not be calm, only happy. Anyway,
The family.
there's nothing to find here, right? No, this just... Oh.
Do you?
Well, no, it's a small area. There can't be anybody else left here. So that's why we're going to go back to the golden hour. And we'll do this later. Right now, I need to just find some... Oh, the car crash. That's what we need to go to.
It's getting late. Where to now?
This is ridiculous!
Give me your emotions. Say PP Sheet Gamer.
Tisk tisk. What a sight. Thank goodness the Teletrons are thick-skinned and meaty. They'd be a goner if they were a normal person.
The Teletrons are not organic life at all. How can you call them tough-skinned and meaty? They're made of steel. The car looks quite expensive. I wonder what happened to the people in it.
If the person driving somehow got knocked away, they'd probably be steaming mad in the dream cool.
That's hilarious, but in Penacony it's totally normal.
This limbo nearly broke the glue seal on my outer shell.
Are you all good?
Nothing good about it.
Actually, he's a robot. Nothing good about it. This shell of mine is hand polished, but now it's all dinged up. I was just walking along the street as normal when the car suddenly drove halfway across the lane to hit me. Who knows whether this was a hate crime targeting silicone-based life forms. If he can make a satisfactory statement, then he'll never hear the end of this from me. You're right, he should pay you compensation. Looks like you've got a good head on your shoulders. If you can afford to drive that kind of car in Penacony, then money is just a number to you. Since they can bring their money from outside into the dreamscape, they don't blame me for taking their money from their pockets back to the outside. I really have to hand it to my sturdy body this time. Carbon-based life forms can't handle that. Ha ha. If this guy can't explain himself, we'll have a problem. Are you just gonna sit there?
Ha!
The car that just hit someone, or got hit by someone, is stopped in place. No one can be heard within.
Who is that? Didn't I tell you not to bug me until the family gets here?
I'm here to sort out the situation.
What's there to sort out? Aren't the facts already clear enough? I was just driving on the street when the Iron Skull suddenly jumped out from the side and rammed against my car. My car got sent off course by several meters with a loud bang, as if I was hit by a rock. It's outrageous. This is how they run insurance scams these days. So blatant. Oh, now you know that I have contracts in the Alfalfa family.
Were you really just driving normally?
How else? What kind of grudge would I have against him to deliberately crash a car this pricey into him? This is a new car that I just picked up. One of the only 12 Steinway Raptors throughout the whole dreamscape. Do you really think he could pay this back? He dares put the blame on my head. I'll teach him a lesson.
Well, I'm gonna ding it out for you. Is this not a quest then? Oh no, these guys. I guess not. Huh. I guess there's nothing I can do. I thought that was gonna lead to a quest. Usually sometimes when you have a question mark, it leads you to a quest.
Time outweighs money, buddy! Tick-tock! Oh boy! I've eaten too much this time!
Also, lady, why are you sitting here? A female dream church stood on the edge of the railing, lost in thought as she gazed upon the flowing traffic below, poised as if contemplating a leap. Nonetheless, ending your life by jumping off a building in a dream is like trying to kill yourself with a balloon. Absolutely impossible. You'll only wake up from the dream if you do that. Wake up. Indeed, this is nothing more than a meaningless show. There's no dream, and there's no death in dreams. The greatest punishment is to return to the harsh reality. A tragedy never concludes, but rather takes on a different form to begin anew. As a detective, I can't believe I couldn't figure it out. What's on your mind? I was just wallowing in self-pity as a loser. I've gone through many things in my life, most of which aren't worth mentioning, but some are so infuriating that they leave me shaking in anger in the middle of the night. I've squandered many chances and made the wrong decisions many times. My life is like a pair of muddy boots that gets heavier with each step I take. Perhaps those things are destined to happen to a detective as incompetent as me.
Tragedy doesn't come to an end, it just changes to a different form.
Looks like you need a little bit of fixing.
Blue Archer smacks her lips. Her previous grief seems to have turned into sort of desire. I'm feeling very thirsty all of a sudden. Guess my Soul Glide addiction is acting up again. I need to get a sip or two somewhere. Is Soul Glide addicting? That's just an exaggeration. I just need a drink to lift my spirits. Speaking of Soul Glad, Blue Archer's eyes seem hesitant. She runs her fingers through her hair while seemingly contemplating what to say next. You're a good person. Thanks, you too. Please, allow me to explain. You have a special demeanor that reminds me of my old self. Some label it as meddling, but I prefer to call it a sense of responsibility. Although I won't really die by jumping off the bridge in a dream, you're the first one, besides the family, who's willing to lend me a hand in a long time. I might really go bonkers after a few more deaths. By the way, I still think I'm almost normal compared to the other weirdos here. Come with me to Soul Glide Club. Let's have a few bottles of Soul Glide together.
Be careful of emergencies. TikTok, she's going crazy.
Considering now